As the sun began to dip below the Manhattan skyline, casting long shadows across Justin Wright's cramped apartment, he sat back and examined the translucent crystal he'd picked up at the Brooklyn flea market. It was oddly captivating, with swirling patterns under its surface that caught the light just so, making it appear alive in his hands. The last thing he'd expected to spend $20 on that day was a piece of crystalline oddity with a bit of dust and a lot of mystery. Probably just a gimmick, he muttered, more to himself than anything, as he rubbed a smudge from its edge. As his fingers brushed against the surface, a warmth began to emanate from the crystal, and a faint, almost imperceptible pulse thrummed beneath his fingertips. Startled, Justin pulled his hand away, but before he could react further, a brilliant blue light exploded from the artifact, filling his small office with a glow that was both blinding and breathtaking. The air seemed to thicken, and Justin found himself unable to look away as the light coalesced before him, forming a figure with a fluid grace that left him momentarily speechless. When the light receded, standing before him was a woman unlike any he had ever seen. Her skin had a rich sapphire hue, with dark, glossy hair that shimmered like the night sky. She was both alien and alluring, with luminous eyes that seemed to hold secrets from beyond the stars. Her form-fitting suit reflected hues like oil on water, lending her an air of elegance mixed with a hint of danger. "Hello, Justin Wright," she said, her voice carrying a strange, melodic accent that was as enchanting as it was unsettling. "I am Rima, summoned by you through the artifact you possess, and as is custom, I am here to grant you 3 wishes." Justin gaped, unable to form coherent thoughts. He half expected this to be a bizarre hallucination, perhaps induced by his recent late nights coding VR simulations. Still, the creature, Rima, stood there, watching him patiently, her expression unreadable but her gaze intense. "How do you know my name?" he managed finally, feeling the weight of her words settle in. "And 3 wishes? Like a genie?" Rima's lips curved into a faint smile. "Not a genie, not exactly. Your kind once called us succubi, but that title fails to encompass our true nature. We're much more than beings of mere desire, Justin. We are intermediaries, between dimensions, between realms of existence." Justin struggled to comprehend her words, wondering if he'd slipped into some alternate reality. "Why me?" he asked, trying to find his footing in the surreal moment. "Why are you here? And why now?" "Each artifact seeks out its own," Rima explained, glancing around his small office with a hint of amusement as she took in the clutter of energy drink cans and takeout boxes. "Yours called to you, and I was bound to answer. But there must be a catch," he replied, his logical mind kicking in. "There's always a catch." "You read too many tales of caution," Rima said, her tone a blend of humor and mystery. "These wishes are bound by cosmic law. They won't bring harm to others, nor can they break the fundamental principles of reality." Justin was skeptical, though intrigued by her unusual candidness. "So, you're here, to give me 3 wishes and just go back? No hidden agendas?" A flicker of something vulnerable passed across her face, so brief he thought he imagined it. "No one's asked me that before," she replied quietly. For a moment her gaze softened, and Justin felt an unexpected pang of empathy for this beautiful, enigmatic being. After a moment of silence, he offered, "Would you like some tea or coffee?" "Do succubi drink tea?" To his surprise, Rima laughed, a sound like soft chimes in the wind. "You're not what I expected, Justin Wright. And yes, we do enjoy tea, though your earthly varieties are mild compared to what I know." "Challenge accepted," Justin said, grinning as he made his way to the kitchen. As he prepared a ghost pepper chai he'd been gifted, he noticed her watching him with curiosity, studying every movement as though human rituals fascinated her. Settling in for what he hoped would be a night of conversation rather than wish-granting, Justin handed her a steaming mug. "If I'm going to be granted 3 wishes, I should at least know who you are. Tell me about where you come from." Rima held the cup gingerly, her eyes sparkling with surprise at his genuine interest. "Be careful, Justin," she warned with a smile. "Showing curiosity towards a succubus can be dangerous." But Justin only laughed. More dangerous than summoning one by accident? And thus, the night began, Justin asking question after question about her origins, her people, and the cosmic forces that bound her to him, and Rima answering with an openness that even surprised herself. Days passed, and though Justin had yet to make a single wish, he found himself more captivated by Rima's presence than the promise of cosmic power. Each night they spoke for hours about science, art, and the strange mysteries of the universe. With each conversation, Justin's intrigue grew, and Rima found herself navigating emotions she hadn't known she could feel. In one quiet moment, Justin asked, "If you're really as powerful as you seem, why don't you just leave? What keeps you bound here?" Rima hesitated, her eyes distant. "My people are part of a pact. Our nature and our knowledge can disrupt the natural flow of your world's existence. To maintain balance, we're called upon sparingly, bound to cosmic law through traditions older than memory." For the first time, Justin glimpsed the weight of her reality. She wasn't free, despite her vast power. She was tied to a system as rigid as any of the programming languages he worked with. One evening, as they discussed parallel dimensions over cups of the now beloved ghost pepper chai, Justin leaned forward with a resolve in his eyes. "I've made my decision for the first wish." Rima looked at him, her curiosity evident. "And what will it be?" "I wish for a deep understanding of the universe's true nature," he said, his voice steady. "Show me what lies beyond human comprehension." Rima's gaze grew serious. "Are you certain? This knowledge will change you, Justin. Once seen, it cannot be unseen." He nodded, undeterred. "I'm certain." A slight nod from Rima, and the room darkened, filled with a weight of energy he couldn't describe. She reached out, her fingers grazing his forehead, and suddenly his mind was flooded with visions beyond words. Constellations collapsing into black holes, galaxies colliding, and a sense of interconnectedness woven through all things. The experience was overwhelming and transcendent, leaving him grasping at the magnitude of it all as he slowly returned to his senses. As he blinked back into focus, Rima was there, steadying him, her face a blend of pride and concern. "How do you feel?" she asked softly. "Changed," he whispered, feeling an indescribable clarity, an expansion of consciousness that made him see the world anew. Their bond deepened with each night. Justin found himself gravitating towards her not just for the wisdom she shared, but for the quiet moments they spent simply being together. There was something in Rima's gaze, a vulnerability she seemed almost afraid to acknowledge, yet couldn't hide when they were alone. One night, as they watched the city lights from his balcony, Justin looked at her, a gentle smile playing on his lips. "You've shown me so much, but I still feel there's more to you. It's like you're holding something back." Rima glanced away, her voice barely a whisper. "Your world is so finite. Mine is boundless. I don't understand emotions like yours, but I feel drawn to this life, these experiences." She looked back at him, her expression unguarded. "And you?" He reached out, taking her hand in his. "Maybe that's something we can explore together." A small, almost shy smile appeared on her lips, and Justin felt his heart leap. The wish she'd granted him had changed him profoundly. Yet nothing had impacted him as much as this quiet moment of connection with a being from a world he could barely understand. And for Rima, who had known millennia of existence without ever feeling truly seen, Justin's touch grounded her in a way she'd never thought possible. As Justin and Rima grew closer, they unknowingly set off ripples across dimensions. Their shared moments, especially those where Rima would reveal aspects of her energy form to him, triggered shifts in the energy patterns that held her realm separate from his. Unknown to them, these disturbances did not go unnoticed. One night, while they were absorbed in a conversation about the malleability of quantum states, a sharp, blinding light erupted in the center of Justin's living room. The temperature in the room dropped abruptly, and Justin felt a strange pressure in the air, as though reality itself was straining to contain an immense presence. 3 shimmering figures emerged, their forms indistinct, blending with the glow around them. Their eyes, or what Justin thought were eyes, bore into him, assessing his very soul. "Rema," the central figure said, its voice reverberating with a harsh authority that seemed to bypass the ears and go straight to the mind. "You have broken the boundaries laid down by our council. This connection with a human is forbidden." Rima's expression shifted, her usual confidence clouded by a hint of fear. "Elders," she addressed them, her tone deferential but strained. "I have upheld every law of our dimension. The bond with Justin, it was not planned. Justin felt anger simmer within him as he processed the intrusion. She's done nothing wrong. We didn't break any rules on purpose. Why should this connection be forbidden? The figures turned their cold gaze toward him, and Justin felt the weight of their judgment. Mortal, you cannot comprehend the extent of what you meddle with. A succubus is not meant to form attachments with those outside her dimension. The resonance of your bond destabilizes the boundaries between worlds. Rima lowered her gaze, her voice almost a whisper. I know the risk, but I am bound here. This is my duty. The lead figure spoke again, ignoring her. If you do not end this connection willingly, we will be forced to take action. Rima, you know what that entails. Rima's face hardened and she stood between Justin and the figures. I understand, she replied, her tone resolute, but her eyes betraying her unease. As the figures began to fade, leaving behind a chilling emptiness, Justin grabbed her hand. There has to be a way. I won't let them take you from me. In the days that followed, Justin wrestled with the possibility of losing Rima. The weight of her world's laws pressed upon him, filling his nights with restless thoughts and the need to protect her. He had 2 wishes remaining, 2 opportunities to find a way to secure their bond permanently, to free Rima from the Council's grip. Sitting beside her one night, he knew what he had to do. I'm ready to make my second wish. Rima looked at him, sadness flickering in her eyes. Justin, you don't have to do this. I don't want you to use your wishes because of me. But he shook his head, determination etched in his face. I wish for a bond with you that cannot be broken by the laws of any dimension. For a heartbeat, everything went silent, as though the entire universe held its breath. Then, a wave of light spread from his chest, intertwining with Rima's own aura in a dazzling, unbreakable thread. Energy pulsed between them, a connection beyond mere words, binding them on a level neither fully understood. Rima gazed at him, awe and a hint of fear in her expression. Justin, what you've done, it defies our council's laws. They'll see it as a violation. Let them, he replied, his voice steady. I'd rather face whatever they bring than lose you. But as days turned into weeks, the council's retaliation became inevitable. They sent warnings through flashes of intense, otherworldly light that filled Justin's apartment, sometimes at odd hours, disorienting him. His once peaceful sanctuary felt more like a haunted battleground, where each interaction could be the last. Despite the council's threats, Justin and Rima grew even closer. Rima's nights were filled with moments of joy and freedom she hadn't known before. But an underlying tension remained, looming like a storm cloud, ready to unleash its fury. One evening, as they sat in the dim glow of the city lights, the familiar light of the council filled the room once more. This time more intense, leaving no doubt of their intent. Justin knew their time was running short. He held Rima's hand, feeling the energy pulsing between them, more certain than ever of what he needed to do. I have my final wish, he said, his voice firm, cutting through the charged silence. Rima looked at him, a mixture of fear and hope flashing in her eyes. Justin, no, don't waste it on. But he silenced her gently, squeezing her hand. I wish for your complete freedom, Rima. Freedom from all obligations to your council, past, present, and future. The room seemed to hold its breath, and then a deep rumble reverberated through the walls, as though the very fabric of existence were protesting the wish. The council figures reappeared, their forms twisted with anger, yet unable to stop the wish from taking hold. One of the figures spat in fury. This is an abomination. You've severed her from her duty, from her very essence. Rima felt a surge of unfamiliar sensation as her obligations unraveled. It was both liberating and disorienting, like stepping into a new world without a map. She looked at Justin, awestruck, realizing he'd used his final wish not for his own gain, but for her freedom. The council figures wavered, but they were bound by their own cosmic laws. The wish stands, they intoned, their voices a final, resentful echo. But you are warned, this connection carries a grave responsibility. The energy between you could shape or shatter the very boundaries between dimensions. As they vanished, the light faded, leaving Justin and Rima alone in the calm that followed the storm. She took a shaky breath, her newfound freedom settling over her like a cloak. So, Justin said softly, a tentative smile breaking the silence, how does it feel to be truly free? Rima's gaze softened as she reached for his hand. Strange, beautiful, overwhelming, and So much more than I ever imagined. She looked at him, a smile curving her lips. You've given me more than I could ever repay. Maybe there's nothing to repay, he replied, pulling her close. Maybe this is just us. In the weeks that followed, they began to build a new life together. Rima adjusted to her new, unbounded existence, relishing the simple joys that she'd previously only observed from a distance. They shared mornings over steaming cups of ghost pepper chai, talked about science, art, and philosophy, and planned trips to see the world in ways neither had before imagined. But Justin's wish had set in motion changes that extended beyond their own lives. With her freedom came a latent power, a new energy that bound her not by duty but by choice. Together, they discovered that this bond allowed them to reshape the world around them, blurring the line between dimensions without tearing it apart. One morning, as they walked through Central Park, Justin noticed the colors of the trees shifting subtly with her touch. Rima grinned, testing her new abilities in this liberated form, bending light and space in playful, almost childlike curiosity. Yet, they were careful, conscious of the council's warning about the consequences of their bond. Though they knew there was always a possibility that the council might intervene in some way, they chose to live each day with the joy of their shared freedom, facing the unknown together. Over time, their bond grew even deeper, blending Rima's ancient wisdom with Justin's unyielding curiosity. They found harmony in each other's presence, a balance that allowed them to truly live without fear. Years passed, and their life together blossomed, filled with the mundane joys and cosmic marvels that only a human and a liberated interdimensional being could experience together. They became inseparable partners, not only in love but in the exploration of reality itself. Rima, once bound by ancient laws, had found freedom in the least expected place, in a small Manhattan apartment with a mortal who saw her as more than her title or her power. Justin, who once believed in the logic of codes and algorithms, had unlocked a new understanding of the universe, finding that the true magic of life lay in connection, compassion, and the courage to defy limits. And in this life they built, where their hearts and energies intertwined, they created a new kind of love. A love that bridged worlds and defied the cosmos, a testament to the power of shared understanding and the beauty of a connection that could not be broken by law, dimension, or time itself. With the council's influence finally removed and her freedom restored, Rima began embracing life as a liberated being. For the first time in countless millennia, she experienced joy without restriction, laughter without worry, and days unbound by duty. She and Justin, now fully committed to each other, embarked on new adventures, exploring both the wonders of his world and the dimensions that were hers to reveal. One sunny afternoon, as they sat on a bench overlooking the Hudson River, Rima looked around in awe. Her eyes, now a soft yet piercing shade of cerulean, glistened with new awareness. "I never noticed how vibrant your world is," she mused, her voice filled with wonder. "It's alive in ways I couldn't sense before." Justin chuckled, glancing sideways at her. "Maybe that's because now you're seeing it as more than just an observer. This is your world now, too." Rima's hand found his, and as their fingers interlaced, a gentle warmth pulsed between them, a reminder of the unbreakable bond they'd forged. "It's strange," she admitted. "I never thought I'd find contentment in such a finite reality. But here, with you, it feels limitless." In the months that followed, they made a life that blended their worlds in unexpected ways. Rima often used her abilities to enhance their shared experiences, creating subtle shifts in reality that added a layer of enchantment to everyday moments. One evening, while they walked through a quiet park, she lifted her hand, and with a soft murmur, the stars above them intensified, illuminating their path in brilliant constellations that seemed close enough to touch. "Isn't it risky to use your powers like this?" Justin asked, though he was captivated by the beauty of it. "Maybe," she replied, her smile mischievous. "But we've rewritten the rules before. Why not bend them a little?" Despite the freedom they enjoyed, Justin occasionally sensed an unspoken concern lingering in Rima's gaze. She often gazed at the night sky with a distant expression, as if waiting for something she couldn't quite place. It wasn't until an evening in late fall, when the air turned crisp and leaves scattered in vibrant colors around them, that she finally shared what weighed on her heart. I have this lingering connection to my own dimension, she confessed, her voice tinged with sorrow. Though I'm free, I still feel echoes of my past life calling to me. It's like a faint tug in my chest, pulling me towards something I no longer want to return to. Justin held her close, sensing her vulnerability. Do you think it's the council trying to draw you back? She shook her head. No, it's more like a memory, a remnant of who I was before. Part of me wonders if I need to confront it somehow, to truly be free. In that moment, Justin realized what needed to be done. Then let's go, he said firmly. Let's face whatever remains together. Rema looked at him, surprised but reassured. With a deep breath, she whispered a few words in her ancient tongue, and reality around them shimmered, bending until they found themselves in a vast, ethereal realm. The air was thick with a weight Justin had never felt before, and the landscape was unlike anything he'd seen. Alive, yet timeless, as though every part of it breathed with Rema's essence. At the heart of this world stood a massive, crystalline structure pulsating with energy. Rema approached it slowly, her hand trembling as she reached out. This is a piece of my essence, a memory of the life I've left behind. As her fingers brushed against the crystal, a surge of images flooded her mind. Millennia of interactions, duties, and sacrifices, all bound to the council's laws. But as she stood there, with Justin by her side, Rima felt something shift within her, a sense of closure, as though the weight she carried had finally been lifted. She turned to him, her eyes alight with newfound freedom. It's over. I feel whole. They returned to their world hand in hand, the ties to her past finally severed, leaving Rima free to live fully in the present. With Rima's ties to her former dimensions severed, she and Justin settled into a life both magical and meaningful. They dedicated themselves not only to one another, but also to understanding and sharing the knowledge they now held, a legacy of wisdom and strength born from their unbreakable bond. They opened a small but innovative institute together, where they hosted seminars and workshops, disguised as advanced scientific research, but infused with the cosmic insights Rima had imparted to Justin. The institute quickly attracted brilliant minds, and before long, their small team was on the verge of groundbreaking discoveries, including ways to enhance quantum computing, manipulate energy, and explore consciousness. Yet, with all the new possibilities, Justin and Rima kept the most powerful secrets close, knowing the world wasn't ready for the full depth of interdimensional knowledge. Instead, they nurtured curiosity and growth, letting people find their own path to understanding the universe. In their quiet moments, Justin often marveled at the life they'd built. One evening, as they shared a simple meal on their balcony, he looked over at her and said, "If you had to go back to the beginning, would you still choose this life with me?" Rima smiled, her eyes warm and filled with love. "There's no question. I wouldn't change a thing. This life, our life, is everything I never knew I wanted." As years passed, they became known as visionaries, though most people only understood a fraction of what they'd truly achieved. Occasionally, they encountered skeptics who doubted the theories they presented, but neither Rima nor Justin worried. Their lives were rich and filled with purpose, and each day brought them closer to understanding even more of what lay beyond human perception. Then, one autumn night, a shift occurred, almost like a tremor that vibrated through the very core of their connection. Rima, sensing the disturbance, drew Justin close, her gaze filled with a calm determination. "It's the council," she murmured, though her tone was steady. "They're reaching out, but it's different this time, not hostile." Moments later, a figure appeared, not with the intensity of past encounters, but with a calm, reverent energy. This figure was different from the others, bearing no hint of judgment, only curiosity. "You've achieved something beyond our understanding," the figure said, their voice resonant but gentle. "Your bond has transcended all dimensions, creating a harmony our people have long sought, but never found. We wish to learn." Rima's eyes widened with surprise, and she exchanged a glance with Justin. "You want our help?" The figure nodded. "Yes, we wish to understand this balance, this connection that defies our laws but sustains harmony. We believe it may hold the key to a future where our worlds coexist peacefully." It was a moment neither Rima nor Justin had ever anticipated. The council, once rigid and unyielding, now reaching out to them with humility. As they stood together, Justin sensed a quiet but profound shift. He and Rima had become more than simply a human and a succubus. They were now bridge builders between worlds. Their lives a testament to what was possible when love and knowledge intertwined. With measured words, Rima agreed to share what she and Justin had learned, though she emphasized that it was a journey they could not undertake alone. True harmony requires patience, humility, and respect for all beings, she told the figure. It isn't bound by laws or customs, it's a choice made each day. The figure bowed, their form fading back into the ether, leaving Rima and Justin to ponder what lay ahead. In the years that followed, their institute grew into a beacon for both scientific and philosophical inquiry, a place where individuals from all backgrounds came to learn and share. Rima and Justin's legacy extended far beyond the physical walls of their center, inspiring countless individuals to question, explore, and connect in ways that transcended the limits of their world. One evening, as they watched the sun dip below the horizon, Justin wrapped his arm around Rima, feeling the comforting pulse of their bond. "Do you think we'll ever stop learning?" Rima leaned her head on his shoulder, her voice soft but filled with conviction. "Never. This journey is infinite, and we're just beginning to understand its true scope." Their life together was extraordinary, not because of the powers they wielded or the dimensions they bridged, but because they had dared to create a life defined by love and understanding. Together, they stood as proof that even the most impossible connections could be forged, nurtured, and sustained. As twilight deepened, they closed their eyes, savoring the simple beauty of the moment, a life built on freedom, boundless exploration, and a love that transcended the very fabric of existence.